That's a wrap. Thank you for attending the NABIP Illinois class. What an incredible. Thank you for attending the NABIP Illinois class. What an incredible day. A huge thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Wow, March has flown by. I don't know about you guys, but so quickly. We're going to get started here in just a minute. All right, I got the time as 8 a.m. Thursday, March 20th. And we did apply for once Illinois CE credit for this segment. However, I applied late. I forgot. I got mixed up, and we had the Expo for Heart of Illinois, so I got it mixed up in my brain. So I apologize. We've applied for credit for today. If you would like CE credit, we have not heard officially back yet, but we would like you to still check in and participate in the chat. So we'll have you check in and check out, share your NPN, and should the approval come through, which fingers crossed it still will, then we'll get that filed for you. And again, I apologize. I dropped the ball on that one. I need to make like a checklist, right? So welcome. And, I've got to tell you, there is so much going on my list of things to be thankful for. It's our entire team of volunteers. And I have watched with all these ledge updates, rollouts, things to watch, the bills that come through, Evan Manning, Missy Shepard, Joshua Garrett, Carrie Espinoza, John Hughes, I met over in DC. He's also working with Ledge for their chapter. I mean, it's just amazing the level of dedication that we're seeing from all of our volunteers. And I want to encourage you to get involved. I know a lot of us get pulled, and you might be serving on other boards or in other capacities, volunteering elsewhere. And I get it. Believe me, I get it. But if you can help out, and I'll be sending out an email, if you can help out on any of the committees, even if it's just, 30 minutes a month, or maybe it's sharing posts on social media for us, we would be grateful. It's a heavy lift. It's difficult to not just receive the information, but disseminate it, get it communicated out. And then, like social media with algorithms, again, sharing the posts from NABIP National, NABIP Illinois, NABIP Part of Illinois, and NABIP Suburban Chicago. It's huge if you guys can do that. Help us share, commenting on any of those posts. If you're on social, again, that's huge. Helps boost the algorithm and the importance, if you will, in that algorithm to get that messaging out to other folks. So again, I'll be sending out sort of a request list, if you will. For those of you that don't know, my name is Sarah Walker Height. I apologize, I'm backing up. My name is Sarah Walker Height. I am the president-elect for NABIP Illinois this year. This would be my second term. I'm entering for state president. So again, we really would love to have you have fresh voices, fresh eyes. We have a veteran team of volunteers and support for you, no matter what position on the board or on a committee that you would be interested in serving. And then again, we've got the little nuggets of help that we're looking for as well. So I was nominated for our RVP for Region 3 to start July 1st as well. And I knew the nomination was there. I thought there was someone ahead of me and I would not be nominated for a couple more years yet. However, life happens. That person was unable to serve. So I did accept the nomination for July 1st for RVP for Region 3. I've not heard if anyone's running against me or not. We'll see. We'll see in Miami, but the official vote and all that doesn't take place until we get to Miami, and July 1st would also be the effective date for that volunteer position for me. So again, I'm just asking everybody, hey, if you got 30 minutes a month, 5 minutes here and there, I've got things I need help with, guys. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'd love to serve. Again, we have a great team. I'm happy to help out. Again, for those of you that don't know me or haven't heard, I retired early from Health Alliance in September of last year and opened my own agency October 1st. That was before I knew anything was going on with Health Alliance. I had no idea when I chose to retire early. That had been in the work for years. And I know several of you NABIP members were kind of starting to get the hint, because I had been keeping a notebook and asking questions about your businesses and how you got started and what you would do differently. So, I'm very happy in the new role. Right now, it's just me and Mom. We have an office in Savoy, Illinois, which is right by Champaign-Urbana. And we have a focus on Medicare. The core of everything we do in general is Medicare. So I do have Medicare group, small group, because that ties in with a lot of my Medicare group. I've got a lot of Medicare individuals, of course. And then I do also work with individuals under 65, because I've got folks like me who retired early. But instead of going back to work like I did, they're living that retiree life. So I have a lot of people referred to me for that individual segment till they get to Medicare age, right? So that's a little bit about me in the first 5-6 minutes here. And I hope everybody has checked in. We did have a quick recap I wanted to share with you, and hopefully this works well. Again, we're all volunteers and we're learning. So I made this fun little video, Heart of Illinois. We had so much going on. It was so cool. I made this little video. I'm practicing, so you guys get to be my audience. And let me know if you can hear it. I'm going to start playing it now. That's a wrap. Thank you for attending the NABIP Heart of Illinois Annual Expo. What an incredible day. A huge thank you to all of our participants, expert speakers, organizers, sponsors, and expo booth partners for making this such a success. Your support, insights, and dedication help drive meaningful conversations and shape the future of healthcare and insurance. We appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of this amazing experience. We look forward to seeing you at our next event. Check out our calendar events and join us next time. So how was that? What'd you guys think? It was a first try. Again, you guys get to be my guinea pigs. We are working again nationally to try and boost our visibility. You guys are awesome. We're doing great things together, and we want people to be able to see that. So again, I'm learning. I'm a student, right? I'm always learning, and yeah, so that was something kind of neat. I was working on our presenter, Megan Thomas. If you were at the expo for Heart, Illinois, the background for her is she owns her own social media and digital media company, social coverage. Can't ever remember right. Anyway, Megan Thomas, Facebook, LinkedIn, connect with her. She's got great information. She does great free workshops. And then I also work with her for starting my new agency. I work with her and I am one of her clients, and I'm learning all sorts of cool things that I'm hoping I can also share with NABIP. So with that, we're going to get started in today's meeting. And again, please check in if you haven't already in the chat. We did apply for 1 CE credit, but again, I apologize, I was late on that. We're hoping that approval comes through. So we are going to err on the side of caution and get that interaction in the chat here for us. And if you would, please stand, unmute some of you, because I like to have my little asthma fits in the morning, and let's start the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, guys. One of those leftover fun things from COVID hitting my asthma up, especially first thing in the morning when I stand right up to do the pledge. So I appreciate you. With that, again, as I mentioned, we have a lot of updates. I'm going to turn things over to Missy. Missy, I'm going to see if you can control these slides. 1 second here. Tell me if it's working for you.
No, I don't see, I don't have any arrows or anything. I'm clicking on it and it's not advancing.
Okay. 1 moment, please. Take a sip of your coffee, everybody. Okay, I'm going to download this real quick. Another fun fact about me here lately is my laptop crashed. And of course, I've got mom working for me part-time, so we have 2 laptops. But her laptop doesn't have all the, quick links and all those things that I'm used to having.
Mhm.
And so I just got mine back, which was great. It was all covered, but still got hers here. Downloading. Again, apologies, guys. It's a lot of pictures. So it takes a hot second here.
You're fine. I think I'm going to try my camera real quick. I stayed home this morning for the meeting, but it might be a little dark here. Hope you guys can see me or not. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey. Hopefully we don't have cats screaming in the background today.
It always makes it interesting, right, guys, when we do these lives and like real life shines through. It's all right.
Right.
Okay, now we're gonna try this again. You should hopefully.
Let's see. Nothing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna click through for you.
I guess we're
Sorry,
gonna
guys.
coordinate this together.
Yeah, it's good.
It's all right. We're good at that.
Yes.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. We just wanted to give you, I don't know how many of you were able to make it to the expo. So if you were at the expo, some of this might be repetitive, but we'll give another recap of CapCon and what's going on with the state of Illinois today. It looks like we're going to go through a few of Evan's slides first, which is fine. We actually want to touch base on, Sarah and I were in Springfield yesterday for insurance industry day. And so we heard Evan and Kate speak again, as well as the Big Eye and Phil and Kevin speaking yesterday to, some of the 7,000 bills that have been introduced in Springfield and what our concerns are, of course. So we heard that yesterday. So we'll go through this a little bit. I think go ahead and go to the next slide. We'll probably go through these pretty quick. He's much better at presenting some of this stuff. We did hear from Senator Julie Morrison yesterday. She was able to attend, introduce herself. She's a brand new chair, so she really didn't take any questions. Just learning and looking for our input and expertise in the insurance field to get her going as that new Senate Insurance Committee chair.
She did make a comment that she has Allstate in her district, and then so she's committed to doing her best to see both sides of the issues. We'll see, but she doesn't, from what I've been told, been involved in anything like this before. So you want to talk about an education opportunity. This is someone that you really, and you don't want to, when you're talking to your elected officials, you never want to assume any level of expertise. But I love the story that they were telling where they're working with some of these elected officials and they asked questions while they were in their office, about which plan they should pick and what should they enroll in. And to have someone say, well, what's a copay or what's a coinsurance? And they're on the committee, kind of scary, guys. But, this is, again, educational opportunity. We can't assume that people know these things just because they're elected into these positions and put on these committees. We see how that goes when we get voluntold to be on committees, right?
True. Very true. All right, we'll go to the next slide. This would be she's been there maybe 2 years now. This might be her second year. This is the Director of Insurance, Ann Gillespie, who is a former senator, also has insurance background, I believe with Aetna, if I'm not mistaken. We heard a lot about the Department of Insurance yesterday, and they've had a lot of turnover. The experience factor, of course, is not quite there. They've got a workload, of course, that continues, and not much experienced staff there. A lot of our information is coming from Brett Gerger, who worked with Department of Insurance for 25 years, so he was able to enlighten us some on the turnover there and how in 25 years he had 18 different directors. That just is mind-blowing to me, and how they get anything done if you're constantly training a freshman director. But we'll get into a little bit about state-based exchange here pretty soon and just see what we're up against. So the attitude in the General Assembly has been increasingly negative post-pandemic on both sides for PNC and life and health. We see a trend in, if we're trying to educate them maybe on a topic, they may be a little closed off taking that information from the industry, thinking that we are maybe skewing it, for industry benefit, but really we're not. We're just trying to educate folks on the facts. And that's been our focus is to stay on the facts, because facts are the facts, right? And as we introduce all of these bills and we're opposing the majority of them, of course, for good reason, that nobody's putting cost attachments to these bills and mandates, or thinking about the repercussions or how that's going to affect our carriers and our insureds premium rates and so many other things. So next slide, and go ahead to the next slide.
$7,000 bills, you
Yeah.
guys. 7,000. You want to know why our volunteer ledge chairs are so tired all the time? And poor Evan.
Poor Evan, exactly. Yeah. Now, of course, hundreds of those are health insurance bills. The Senate moves quicker compared to the House. Both the House and Senate Democrats have lost a lot of long-term staff members. So again, this theme, right? We're constantly hearing that the turnover, everybody's new, everybody's got a learning curve, and it's just stacked deep from the House to the Senate to the Department of Insurance. Everybody's a freshman and everybody's still in the learning process. And as you know, I mean, I've been in the business for 24 years, but we're constant learners. There's always more things. So I can't imagine to be so new and stack all of these changes on top of being so new in the process in the industry.
And Missy, there was an interesting tidbit mentioned yesterday about Illinois, that we're rivaling California for being so heavily mandated. Comments on that?
I mean, I want to keep it PC this morning, right? It's just 8:19. How heavy do we want to get rolling?
I think whether you follow a lot of ledge or not, most people know California is a very heavy regulated state. We get products that's got the sticker on it specific to California. And so, yeah, to know that Illinois is giving them a run for their money, to me, it says a lot.
Well, I think we've heard for years it's California, New York, and Illinois is right behind them, right? So I more so nowadays I hear just California, and then here comes Illinois. I know from being at national meetings, California's defeated universal health care and single payer bills for years now, right? Just because it's too expensive. And they don't have enough money to do it. And I'm hearing the exact same thing here. We have a universal health care bill that's been introduced this year. Not a lot of people are talking about it because it's not going to get a lot of traction. Our governor's got a huge deficit this year that nobody's fussing up to yet, and another $55 million budget that he wants passed, right? So, I mean, the money's not there to do universal health care, but yes, when we get to some of these
and
that are coming soon,
with the rumors that he intends to run for president next term, he's
a lot of it's really all about getting things under his belt and things that he can brag about for future political gain. Absolutely. Yeah. And unfortunately, we see that on a lot of different levels. They mentioned our Secretary of State several times yesterday. It's more on the PNC side, but things that the Secretary of State's office wants to take over when himself, he's newly elected in that position, still learning the ropes. On one issue, we'll say, no, we don't have the manpower or the time or the knowledge to take on XYZ study. But if it's something more, more glorious for his resume, absolutely, they'll take it on. We're going to do this study. We'll handle all of this stuff. And knowing that it's not going to be good work by any means, right? So yeah, there's too much of
Yeah.
that going on, I would say, in Illinois, which can be compared to California, I'm sure. These are some of the key dates for the legislature. This is deadline week. We heard that a couple times yesterday. It's deadline for bills to come out of committee. And so that deadline is tomorrow, and then the third reading deadline in April. Of course, they'll try to wrap up this session by Labor Day weekend or the end of May there somewhat, but as Evan says, these are just dates. They really, it's just a guideline, but whatever happens, happens in Illinois. It won't necessarily follow those dates. A couple of the key health bills that we're looking at, HPA expansion. So this builds off of the what they passed last year in a healthcare package. So this year we're looking at, they want to take the MLR ratio to 87%. Now, as a reminder, individual and small group, I believe, is at 80% currently. Large group might be 85. But this is taking their ratio to 87%. So I'm sure you've all seen one talk or another, you've seen the slide with the dollar bill, and it's all broke out, and this much goes to hospital costs, and this is doctor appointments, and this is prescription drugs, and this little piece down here, that's administration, and that is your 20 cents on the dollar or your 15 cents on the dollar. So they're wanting to shrink that to 13 cents on a dollar. And by the way, that's where our broker fees are as well. So keep that in mind when we hear all of this language. Our broker commission fees are still included in that. They've never been separated from the MLR. So as carriers are squeezed and you know, it's obvious they're going to look at everything, and we need to keep that language going. I'll go back to the other screen real quick. Last session, they passed eliminating prior authorization for urgent mental health services. Now this year we see prior authorization for all mental health services, which is typical. They get a foot in the door and then try to expand it. So that's what we're seeing there. And mandates reimbursement for out-of-network medical travel. That one kind of threw me a little bit, but what they're talking about is travel, cost of gas, a hotel room, you know, for people to travel to see a provider. Why it's just out of network is what floors me. I'm not sure. I mean, sometimes you have to travel to see in network. Are we gonna? I don't know. But again, nobody's.
But I think sometimes some of these networks are so narrow, and it's unbeen, you know, people don't understand that some of the networks are so narrow that when they have to travel for surgery or something like that, it can be quite a hike. So I think that's where that's coming from. But does that make sense to be built in? I don't know. I'm wondering how many complaints and how many people this has really affected.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wonder that with a lot of what we're going to go through here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, show
So
me the
that's always
numbers,
the
guys.
first
That's what we
question
keep
is,
seeing.
always the first question is, what's this going to cost? Right.
Right.
And they never come back with a good answer, which is not good. But
And they're carving out the folks that their plan, their own plan. So the legislators are then carving these out of the plan that's offered to them and state and federal folks a lot of times. So it's hitting downstream because they see the costs, and so they're not approving it for their own
or
budget, but they're
government
pushing
plans,
it downstream. So it's
right?
I found that interesting.
It's whatever fits the agenda. And of course, we got a couple more PBM reform that's not going to go away. I expect we'll probably see some form of PBM reform be passed soon. The dispensing fee is in there somewhere. There's been more than one bill introduced that has dispensing fee language in it. So we'll have to keep an eye
And
out.
we've seen that passed in other states, right, Missy? The
Oh yeah,
dispensing fee bill has been
yes.
passed in other states. I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to let it go.
It passed in Tennessee a few years ago now, not too many, but a few years ago, and I believe it passed in Kentucky last session. So it's happening, and I think it's going to keep coming back until some form of it gets passed, honestly. So, next slide. All right, so mandates. I mean, you can look through this list and see some of the questionable mandates for insurance coverage. Laser hair removal, car seats, covering car seats for everyone, horse riding therapy, vitamins. Where's the other one we talked about? Well, incontinence.
Diapers.
Adult diapers, yes. Which is an over-the-counter item even, but we're talking about insurance carriers having to cover that. Not clear if that means deductible and co-insurance. Is that a durable medical equipment? I'm not sure how that language will come about. We did talk quite a bit yesterday about how, these things are over and above the essential health benefits in the ACA law. And when that happens, the state is on the hook for paying for those. So, if you mandate this, including Medicaid, you're really passing down another tax increase to all the taxpayers in Illinois to cover this. But the long list of mandates there that they're looking at, and some have come out of the House. None are officially all the way through both houses yet, but some have moved from the House and will go to the Senate at this point. Next slide. Prior authorization. So again, with the same theme of we passed a little bit of getting rid of some prior auths, so let's go for the gusto. Yes, Chris, absolutely, increased premiums. So prior auth approval, HIV drug access, mental health, prescription drugs, behavioral health, prohibition, not quite sure what that means, reform, and mandatory reimbursement rates. The mandatory reimbursement rates was explained, it's more so on the mental health side. This is their attempt to recruit more mental health providers, if you will. The theme there being that mental health providers aren't reimbursed high enough. So if we mandate higher reimbursement rates for mental health providers, they will come. I don't see that happening, but that's the thought process with that one. And of course, AI and health insurance. That one's kind of on the fence. They want to regulate it, but it's not even here yet. So what are we regulating? So it's just a constant discussion on the AI front now, and we'll see a lot of bills probably introduced on AI. So, and next slide. I won't spend a lot of time on this. This is, Evan has put in a lot of work on this, and we talked about it a little bit at the expo. This would affect teacher retirement plans. They are limiting their providers to which they can use for their retirement plans. So basically eliminating choice there for them and who they can work with on their 401(b) plans.
They want to give them one option. I don't think anybody likes being told what to do with their money, even if they don't know themselves what to do with their money. I don't think anyone likes to be told you have one option and this is it, like it or not.
Yeah. So I think there's a few slides here we can skip through. And so, I mean, the outreach to you guys, if you don't know your local representatives, get to know who your local representatives are. Have those conversations, let them know who you are, what you do, your expertise, offer to be a resource for them. And they need that education on how this is going to affect your insurance, which are their constituents, right? So attend your NABIP events, contribute to the PACs. We've got a national PAC, obviously, through NABIP, and we do have a state PAC, although it's not just NABIPs, it's through Big I and NAFA and NABIP. We share a state level PAC. If you ever need any information on that, please reach out to me and I will get you whatever information you need to make a donation to your state PAC.
And Missy, what's a PAC do for those that don't know?
So it stands for Political Action Committee, or yeah, I think that's right. Anyhow, so they basically get us a seat at the table. I mean, I think we've struggled with this conversation because you hear PAC and we think, oh, big bad PACs and their money and they're throwing it around and yada yada. But it really, literally from a state level to the federal level, that really is how you get a seat at the table. And NABIP is a $1 million PAC, and it's recognized then as you know, an organization that they should be paying attention to. Money talks, unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, right? So it's really what it does is it gets us that seat at the table. It gets us the opportunity to share our education and our priorities and so forth with the elected officials. That's my take on PAC. You got anything else, Sarah?
No, I think that's great. And I think that anyone who has not been to Capitol Conference in DC, it's definitely worth attending. Talk to one of us, room shares, things like that. There's usually people open. If you're a first time attendee, the next one obviously will be February 2026. There's first time attendee scholarships that we can request through the RVPs. It's just a really good experience to get involved and see how the process works. It was very eye-opening to me when I first went many years ago. And so for me, I gladly contribute to the PAC because I know how hard it is going out there as a volunteer to do this kind of stuff. And then to see folks like Evan Manning and our representatives at NABIP, like Max, Carlin, go out and do those activities every single day. Wow. So I gladly contribute to the cause. And I know how hard that work is now that I've gone out and experienced just a taste of it at Capitol Conference. But and then if you can't make it to Capitol Conference, of course, every year we also have our state legislative day, which is what Missy and I and several others went to last night. And that's in Springfield, Illinois. So again, get those on your calendar. Keep that in mind. We definitely would love to have you. We won't let you be in a corner by yourself by any means. We will take you along and help guide you through the process if you've never been through it.
It's eye-opening, I will say. And now that I've been doing this for several years, I feel like I've learned enough to be in the know while I'm there. I'm gonna go through my CapCon presentation real quick, but this year I think we accomplished more than we have in my 4 years of going. Illinois is a very large state. We have 17 House representatives and 2 senators. That's 19 folks to get around DC and try to visit with. That's a lot, especially if we didn't have much of a delegation going, which we have not had, in years past. There's been 4 or 5 of us, and just securing appointments, and it was a lot of just knocking on doors and seeing if we can talk to somebody. It's not always the representative, of course. It's a staffer, it's the legislative assistant, it's the chief deputy chief of staff sometimes, which is okay too. I mean, they do really know their stuff, and we don't want to assume that they know everything about these bills. We want to make sure that we're there to provide some education, but many times I go in with our NABIP talking points and they are, already micro-focused on one of those talking points that's a priority for them, and they're asking really good questions. And sometimes we have to I'll get back to you on that, you know, I'll get you an answer, that type of stuff. So it's really interesting. But this year we were able to get all 19 of our folders and packets delivered. We had 7 or 8 appointments. Evan jumped in this year and helped us schedule appointments ahead of time, which was very helpful. We also had 10 people there. So we can go to the next slide if you want. Well, I'll keep
Yeah.
talking. But we had 10 people there, so we were able to divide and conquer and you know, make that contact at least with every one of them. So Sunday kicked off the CapCon Region 3 legislative meeting. If you don't know, Region 3, which Sarah will be president of in July, is
VP, RVP.
RVP, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Michigan. So we met with Max and with Caroline and discussed, you know, some do's and don'ts for your meetings with legislators. One thing, for example, like you don't talk about PAC donations while you're in a meeting with a legislator. Makes total sense now, but I mean, coming in to this role, I guess I wouldn't have thought that was something that we don't need to talk about, right? But you learn some of that stuff on in our Region 3 legislative meeting, and we did go through the talking points, make sure everybody was on the same page, and that we were all speaking with one voice from NABIP as an association. And next slide. Oh, good
That's
Lord.
my favorite.
That's your favorite. All right, let's get through that pretty quickly. I don't know who that chick is, but she tight rolled the beans for that party. So
She's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun.
it was fun. It was fun. But seriously, we can go to the next slide now. I'm good with that.
It was dark. Well, there's other pictures, but it was dark, so you really can't see what the rest of us had on. I had my New Kids on the Block shirt on. That was my 90s.
Yes. Monday was pretty much conference all day. These are some of the talking points that we went through on Monday. Brokers Making a Difference, which is our very successful NABIP campaign with what are we at now? 11,000 surveys that have been returned. And NABIP has made material with those comments and the survey results and so forth for all the NABIP members to use. And I'm sure Sarah has pushed out those links before, and she will again, but you can drill it down to Illinois and see actual comments that insureds have made and how brokers have helped them choose policies and, you know, make their lives easier to afford their health care. Success of model legislation. So this is kind of a bragging point here. So last year, NABIP, our legislative team, drew up the language for bill language is what they did, and then introduced it across the country. And obviously it was about PBMs because that's what everybody's talking about, this PBM reform. So the bill language was drafted, and it was actually picked up in Virginia and introduced. A piece of it is soon going to become law in Virginia. So just after 1 year, we can share that NABIP was instrumental in passing PBM reform that will be helpful for constituents in Virginia. So little feather in our cap, and hopefully that's just the start of a positive trend. We need more positive trends in our industry than negative. It would be nice. We want to be on the offense and not on the defense all the time. And that is a great first step. So public option working group, that picture you see there, that is Mike Wojak from Horton Group in Chicago. And he is part of that public option working group. He's also part of the, oh shoot, I just lost it. He's on, what's the other group he's on? The employer group, I'm sure.
He will be our guest speaker next month as well for this segment. So he will be recapping all of his activities.
He's our national legislative council guy.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's the go-to guy.
he is. Yes.
Chicagoland go-to guy.
Yeah. So that's a good picture of him presenting there at the public option working group piece. Lobbying practices, purpose of NABIP PAC was discussed, and then we had a keynote speaker, Chris Saliza, and most of his, he's a former CNN reporter, and he's worked a few other places doing his own thing now, but a lot of his discussion was about trust in media, which I don't know if we have that nowadays. So, and that was his point, you know, and you're going to see, you see more so that a lot of these reporters and so forth have broken off to do their own thing and maybe not cover everything, but cover things that they actually have researched and had knowledge on. So hopefully, you know, everything's changing. That's just one of the newer trends in media. So, and next slide. So this would be Monday afternoon. We had a Region 3 meeting, picked up those folders I talked about, and then we broke into our groups for strategy, created that roadmap for our group to divide and conquer. And then we went back into general session, had the awards and town hall meetings at CapCon. Those are amazing. That really is an opportunity. They put a panel up there on a certain topic and take questions from the crowd, and you just learn so much on those town hall. Would you agree, Sarah?
Oh yeah, it's just like I say, it's a great experience. Um, and you're just learning so much, and just the collaboration and networking of people that you
Mm-hmm.
meet that are sitting next to you or you're in line
Mm-hmm.
next to at lunch. It's just priceless.
Right.
So I really enjoyed it. I learn something new every time I go. And the venue is right there on Capitol Hill. So if you stay right there by the venue, you're in easy walking distance of all those Smithsonian museums and other things. I've walked to the White House. I'm not in the best shape, but I've actually walked to the White House and back before.
Mm-hmm.
And Capitol building, of course, we walked to. So yeah, it's just an amazing experience, guys. It's hard to describe. And for those of you that have been to DC but not been to DC during Capitol Conference, it's definitely a different vibe when you've got your tribe with you, right? The folks that
Yep.
are where you're working together to speak with one voice. So it certainly is a different experience to go on a vacation or for something different than to go for an industry event like this one. So yeah, I can't encourage you enough, to save up and join us.
Mm-hmm. And you meet all kinds of different people. I know as I was stalling before an appointment in the Cannon building, there were several hundred DAV, Disabled American Veterans group was there. And I struck up a conversation with a gentleman there, and he said, "Oh, there's 400 of us here today." And I said, "Well, there's 700 insurance agents, so be careful."
Right.
But it was a good conversation. It's just so neat to see all of those different interests and everybody coming, to DC to have their voices heard, basically.
Yeah.
So, next slide.
I did add, for those of you that haven't checked the chat, in the chat, I did add the talking points that NABIP gave us. The first two pages are talking points. The third page is actually guidance on interacting with your legislator. And so again, if you've never done that before, that third page can be extremely helpful because you can, of course, at any point reach out to your elected officials. So again, I put that in the chat, and then also I put role of the agent in the chat as well. That was something that we included it, NABIP included in our packets this year because so many people lump agents and brokers into one pot with call centers, with ship counselors. and it gets very confusing. So it was just an effort, national made, to create an infographic. I thought it was still pretty busy, but it is kind of hard to describe all the different things we do. But it was good that they put that in an infographic. So as we're educating all of these new staffers and folks that are new to their position as elected officials, it gives them a quick, reference to who the heck these people are. Because to Missy's point, there's group after group coming in, to speak with one voice. And so you have to leave behind something that's bullet points, quick, easy to read, and remind them of who you are. And then, of course, on page 3, it talks about sending thank yous and follow up and things of that nature. So, again, even if you didn't go, I encourage you all to download those and just save them to your computer.
Yeah. Tuesday was our day to actually go to the Hill. So there was a general session held by NABIP from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. But we did have a meeting scheduled with Representative LaHood at 10 o'clock. So a couple of us headed on over there. As I shared with everybody at the expo, that was probably the most unique meeting that I have had in my 4 years of going. He was literally in a Ways and Means committee hearing. So we were walked over to the hearing room, ushered through the hearing room while somebody was actually giving testimony, and into a room in the back where we, visited with one of his staffers until he just kind of popped in the door. And then it was a real quick flurry of going through our talking points. And then I realized that I had been talking for about 10 minutes straight, and I popped up and took a breath, and the whole time, and we were in a little room and there was a lot of noise in there, and he was just super focused on my mouth. I think he was more trying to hear me and read my lips at the same time. But I came up for air and he just kind of smiled, and I smiled. I'm like, any questions? He's like, nope. So, I mean, I didn't expect we'd probably get a lot of feedback from him at that point. I mean, he needed to get back out into a Ways and Means committee hearing, right? Which blows my mind still. But so that was a very interesting meeting. And of course, we made great connection with Austin, his legislative assistant, and we'll be following up with him. I don't know do we have other slides there from CapCon?
We do not, but we do have on social media. It's your friendly reminder to like and follow us on social media, Facebook and LinkedIn, NABIP National, NABIP Illinois, NABIP Part of Illinois, NABIP Suburban Chicago.
Great. Yep. So, and you've got the talking points, so you see what we discussed out there and what the priorities are from the NABIP side. Yes, you should be getting your Washington updates every Friday. That's one that I look forward to every week, as well as a state update. When there's relevant information, they'll be sending out state updates about every other week. Your NABIP newswire every day. If you guys aren't getting this information for whatever reason, please reach out to Sarah or I, and we'll help get that back up for you.
Yes, and we talked about PAC earlier. Here is a fun QR code, but you can just Google NABIP PAC too. If you were like me, I just learned QR codes like last year, so don't feel bad, guys. But this will take you to the NABIP PAC site where you can set up regular giving. Some people like to do one annual giving, some people like to do a one-off, others like to set up the monthly giving. So it's all out there on the site for you. Jerry Jackson is our PAC chair, so you may be hearing from him. Sometimes we fall off. I've fallen off a few times over the years, even though I had it set up with my checking account. It happens, right? Technology happens. So you may be hearing from Jerry with some reminders. Coming up, Suburban Chicago, do we have someone that wants to talk about your upcoming meetings? All right, I'll give a quick overview then. April 9th.
Sarah.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, Christina.
There, I have lost my voice. So I know we've got some other people on the phone from suburban Chicago. I don't know if one of them could do it for me, please.
Hi, this is Dave Flores. I'm the media chair for Suburban Chicago. I can speak on that.
Hi, Dave. Yes, tell us what's going on with suburban Chicago.
Yeah, so we have our monthly meeting coming up on April 9th, which is a virtual only meeting. We've got a great human resource professional, Debbie Rabishaw, speaking. She's a good contact of mine, and every time we have an HR person speak to our group, we always have tons of questions and learn a lot. So it'll be well worthwhile to attend. And then we're really gearing up for our expo. You know, we've had an expo for many years in the past with several of the Suburban Chicago chapters, and now we are reviving that in our newly formed NABIP Suburban Chicago on May 7th. That'll be held in Hoffman Estates. Starts at 10:30 in the morning, so people from downstate have plenty of time to drive up. It'll include lunch and a happy hour afterwards. We're going to cover all segments. So we've got folks on Medicare, ACA, and group benefits, all on the agenda. And we're still looking for additional sponsors and are happy to talk to anyone who has an interest in that. And then our last item on there is the meeting coming up in June 11th, which will be a hybrid meeting, our monthly breakfast.
And we did help promote at the Heart of Illinois Expo that Suburban Chicago was hosting this event. So, you know, we were trying to help get the word out and also sharing it with the sponsors that were there. So hopefully that'll generate some more calls for you guys.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'm planning to come up myself. I'll be coming up from Champaign-Urbana, guys. So I do appreciate the later start time because I'm not a morning person. And we also have a lot going on at Heart of Illinois. Do we have a representative that wants to pop on and talk a little about Heart of Illinois? Deanna McCafferty. I think I saw her name. It's okay. I drafted people just now, so they weren't expecting it. So Heart of Illinois has is offering a ethics class for April. So it's back by popular demand, Thursday, April 10th. And I had the time wrong on here, so I apologize on this slide. I hadn't updated it yet. It will actually be 8 a.m. to noon. So you can join them for Breakfast Club in person at the Ivy Club in Peoria Heights. There's also a virtual option, but the actual ethics class itself will not start until 8:45. Registration information is on their website, nabipheartofil.org. Very reasonable fees for that. So yeah, check that out if you need ethics. May is the golf outing. That's a lot of fun. I like to watch people golf. I'm not a golfer myself, but certainly shaping up to be another great event. That will be at Lick Creek in Pekin, Illinois. June will be a traditional breakfast club meeting, 8 to 10 at, again, their new home, the Ivy Club in Peoria Heights. And again, an online Zoom option for those that can't make it in person. July is another one of those save the dates. If you're involved with Medicare, they are hosting their annual Medicare Summit on Thursday, July the 10th. And Missy has secured Galen Hendricks, the Queen of the Bundle. So Galen is a phenomenal speaker and very effective with everything that she shares. So we're super excited to have her joining in person in Peoria, Illinois for July. So that's a little look ahead at what's going on at the local chapters. For national, again, I apologize, I haven't updated the slide to take off Capitol Conference yet, but there will be an annual convention, national convention. This time it will be in Miami. So join me. Let's go down. let's hang out in Miami. Don't be surprised if you just find me on the beach laying there like a starfish, soaking up the sun and relaxing because I need it, right? But that will be June 28th to July 1st. I don't have no idea how to pronounce that hotel name, but it is right there on the beach. So certainly it would be a wonderful place to visit. And we do have a lot going on online for national, so nabip.org to check out all of those opportunities. We did have one more slide in here that I forgot to take out. I don't know, Missy, you want to talk about the APTC really quick?
Sure. So right now, of course, if you haven't heard, we have expanded advanced premium tax credits in place that will be sunsetting the end of this year. NABIP is in support of keeping that expansion going. So we shared with legislators some details from their districts. So what you're looking at here is a website where you can go in and click on your district, and it gives, we have, oh, there's a typo there. We have Darren LaHood's district pulled up there in the bubble there on the left, and it shows how many enrollments are in his district, 21,000, and the current average premiums, $206. When the expansion goes away, expect those premiums to now average $325. So giving some real life, exposure there to what to expect next year with the loss of the tax credit expansion. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm more scared of the 400% FPL cliff coming back. That one's going to affect a lot of people as well, going to zero tax credit. If we go back to the way it was originally written. So yeah, we shared that information with them, with each of our representatives in our folders that we delivered when we were in DC.
Yeah, it's interesting information, and it's great when you can show people the numbers, and even better when you're speaking to your elected officials, because they want to know what's going on in my district. How's it specific to my district? And Joshua Brooker, one of our NABIP members, was behind putting this interactive map together. It's a great tool for conversations, and again, helps show you the money. If you're seeing some states that aren't colored in, it's because he didn't have data from them yet. A reminder that we do have the 2024 Insurance Industry Economic Impact Study available. It's on our website. Again, great for talking points for any of your meetings, or when you're speaking with your legislator, show them the money, right? And with that, it's 8:59. I want to wish you all a wonderful day. Please check out in the chat. Again, we filed for credit. We're waiting for approval, but we're going to go ahead and make sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's here. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much. And thank you, Missy, for the wonderful recap and reports. We appreciate you so much and all of your dedication. It's just, there's so much going on. So thanks,
No
you guys.
problem. Everybody have a great day. Take care.
You too. And I almost drank my whole cup. So that's good timing. An hour is good, right? A lot to pack into an hour. Thanks, guys. I'll give you all one more minute to check out in the chat if you haven't already. Thanks, guys.